The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Hello, Lobo fans, and welcome into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. Coach G, a tough loss against CSU, but the defense performed very well to keep your team in this game for quite a bit, didn't it?
We did a good job in the first half. I mean, we held them to 13 points. They had a couple short fields. We held them to some field goals, which gave us an opportunity. And then we got the touchdown with the punt safe team out there. That's the whole defense minus Luke Wysong. And I thought that was a great return, but it gave us an opportunity to stay within striking distance. And obviously, we didn't make good adjustments at halftime. And then offensively, we've got to be better. We can't continue this and have a chance to be competitive in games.
So the offense has really struggled. Your last best half of offense, we'd probably say, was the first half against UTEP. What are the primary problems that you see?
It's a combination of everything. We're making mistakes up front. I mean, blocking the wrong guys. We're getting out physical at times. We're not being as aggressive as we can be on the runs. I mean, Bobby and Aaron are hitting the ball up in there, but I think there's some yards on the outside that they can take. And I'm not saying run everything outside. I'm saying make a cut in the hole and get outside, and that'll come with experience, especially from Aaron. And then we've got to throw the ball better. I mean, CJ being his first start, and as a true freshman, you'll expect some of those things. But he was overthrowing the ball. He's underthrowing the ball. We've got to be more consistent from that spot.
Coach, you mentioned first ever start for a true freshman at the Division I level for CJ Montez. We like his skill set. What did you see overall from CJ?
Well, I saw a lot of inexperience. He made some comments early in the week that came back to bite him. And a team like Colorado State, you don't need to give them any more incentive to try and do something. And they had incentive to come out on defense and play well, and they did. When you hold a team to 69 total yards of offense, I mean, that's as bad an offense as I've ever been around. So we've got to fix it.
One thing that we've seen consistently, I think week to week, now 7 weeks in, that number 22, Aaron Dumas, your true freshman running back, he's gotten better and better. He's led your team in rushing 6 out of 7 games.
You know, he has gotten better. And with the true freshman getting more carries, he's getting used to the speed of the game, and he's been our most productive player. Now we need to block better for him up front. And I think a lot of that has to do with continuity on the offensive line. We haven't had that. We've been playing musical chairs with a lot of those guys. So the direction this week is we're going to pick 5. We're going to stick with them. So there's going to be some more growing pains, but hopefully they'll get better.
There's one place where there has been consistent performance from day one, and it's another true freshman, Luke Wysong. He's been unbelievable.
In everything. I mean, he's been our best wide receiver. He's been our best kick returner, our best punt returner, obviously with the touchdown. Now we missed Manny. He did some good things for us, and his injury has taken away a positive for us on offense. But Luke he's a New Mexico kid that we're going to build this program around, and he's doing everything that we've asked.
I know you'd love to have a game breaker. Is that something that's missing? Obviously, Luke takes a punt to the house, terrific, and he's got over-the-top speed, but Manny with his shake in the hole, looking for somebody who can really make somebody miss and then take one, to the goalpost.
You know, we need somebody that can take it 80 every time they touch it, and we're missing that right now. And I think Luke has that capability. I think Keontae Lanier has that capability. We haven't seen Aaron break one away for long distance yet. If we block a couple guys up front or maybe even in the secondary, we'll see if he can do that.
Coach G mentioned before last weekend's contest that Isaiah Chavez, QB5 from a year ago, wasn't really ready because he hadn't had time. 6 weeks out, he wasn't ready in terms of practice time. Should be a good competition at the quarterback position this week?
I think it'll be a great competition. I mean, we're going to give him equal reps in practice. Hopefully we can get Terry some reps, and if that elbow feels better, we'll let Terry play. Isaiah and CJ will get the brunt of it, though, and we'll decide who's going to play better. Now, Isaiah came in at the end of the game. I wanted to give him some real live speed reps to see if he can get used to that game. I don't think he was ready to play a full game. We'll have 3 weeks of practice with him now. I think that'll help him tremendously, and if he performs the best during the week, then we'll ride with Isaiah.
All right, time for our first break. When we come back, first half highlights of the Lobos and CSU. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Welcome back into your Lobo Coaches Show with the head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. I'm Robert Portnoy. It's time for first half highlights, the Lobos and CSU from Albuquerque.
Well, here's the first series. I mean, we started off with a face mask. He gave us a 15-yard penalty. Had a good block by Issei in there. Bobby Cole trying to get through the hole. There might have been a little opening there had they not got him by the face mask. And then we get to a 2nd and 3 right here. Trey with a good job outside there. And people have asked if we're going to put Trey back at quarterback. You know, Trey has as much experience as CJ and Isaiah. I mean, he has one more start. So We need him out there for productivity. I was really disappointed on this one. Andrew Erickson has an opportunity to get a first down on the first series and might have changed that drive. We dropped the ball and they get a stop.
There's Tavian Combs shooting another gap and getting into the backfield. He's been spectacular from that Lobo spot.
You know, he is playing really good. He's really getting comfortable up there with the linemen, and it's hard for that position when you've been a safety your whole life. But he is. He's a physical kid. I thought Ronald Wilson had a great day. If CJ would have stayed in the pocket right there, Andrew Erickson's probably coming open. Somebody flashed before him, and that causes a little bit of insecurity when you're a true freshman in there. It was a little bit too bad. We got to get him staying there. It's like a defensive kid trying to come up there and convince him to hit somebody. You just got to take one every once in a while. We got lucky right here. They called holding. I disagreed with the call. If I'd have been on defense, I'd have been really upset. But we got lucky, and sometimes you get some luck.
You mentioned Ronald Wilson has had just an amazing freshman year. This is a ball that's just underthrown.
Underthrown. The very first one was overthrown. Coach Merringer talked to him, so he tried to leave this one a little bit better for him. And that was a bad situation, a bad deal. We got an interception right there. Now, this running play right there, they popped it through the line of scrimmage. That was a third down play. We've got to get off the field on those third down opportunities to keep the game, to keep them from scoring. We had an opportunity to get off the field on that drive on 2 times and didn't get it done, and then they were able to push it through for the first touchdown.
So they score here, but again, Ronald Wilson, the previous play at the feet of that big tight end McBride, the way he's throwing his body around as a true freshman from your Wolf safety spot, I just love him.
No, he's been very productive. I thought he was the best playing safety between him and Tavian on Saturday. That means he's got a bright future. There was a good run by Aaron right there. We got some good push up front. They played the screen right here really well, and another third down that we had to punt the ball.
You did get some pressure here, yeah?
We did. We got plenty of good pressure. We were covering him okay early. We've got to turn those pressures into sacks, though. We've got guys coming for contain. They've got to make plays. Here was a really good stop. They had a ball first and goal at the 10. We held them to a field goal right here. They got down there with a pass play, but we were able to keep them out of the end zone. That's always the goal.
You made a great point. Centeo, the quarterback, he was able to escape a lot. Is that just staying in the rush lanes, or why were we not able to finish off some of those sacks?
Some of them, it was a little bit, he out-athleted us on the side out there. We've got sometimes our nose guard wrapping for contain, and sometimes those guys can make that play, and sometimes they can't. As we continue to recruit and get better athletes, we'll make those plays.
Another great day for Aaron Rodriguez, in particular, the one at the end of the first half coming up.
That was huge. We got it back to the 50-yard line and got them to a field goal attempt that they missed. That was really good. There's another opportunity. Rico Hanna came in. It was really good to see him. He made a couple really big plays. And then here's our touchdown. This was a great job by the defense. They're blocking their tails off, and then obviously you have to give credit to Luke because he makes some guys miss. He's fast enough to get to the sideline, and this was Luke's first career touchdown, not only as a Lobo, but his first career return touchdown of any kind in his life. Yaffle, Pop Warner, high school, you name it.
Well, that's a great milestone, and what a finish to that play, too. Unbelievable job to get that into the end zone.
Luke Weissong on Dontrell Moore Day, it's a New Mexico connection. That's pretty special, and hopefully we see that for a long time to come. The over route, that route right there got us on 3 different occasions. We stopped it a couple times, but we've got to do a better job so that something doesn't continually happen during the game. Here's their first screenplay that they played for get them down in the goal line earlier. We played it great there. We get another stop and hold them to a field goal. That's really what we got to continue to do.
Yeah, on that screen, it was Devin Sanders in the backfield. And you're right, in terms of managing their drives. As they moved the football in the first half, your defense stiffened when it needed to keep the team in the game.
Short fields, we were able to keep them out of the end zone, and that's a positive. We got to continue. Sometimes we got to get some turnovers off of those and continuously change the field so that our offense has a better chance.
There was Luke Weissong on another return, and I'm glad you mentioned the New Mexico piece of it, because you had said earlier in the week that we're going to build this program on players like Dontrell Moore, a Roswell kid, and now Luke Weissong from Cleveland High School right here in the Metro.
We've got some pieces already between Luke and Larry Luna on the O-line, Bryce Santana and Cody Moon on defense. We've got some kids that we're going to build it around and have a chance to be pretty good.
I have no idea how this punt stayed on the field of play. Just an incredible bounce, and then obviously you guys do a great job here. This is with his heels on the back line. Rodriguez just nails one.
The protection was good. We were on the 1-yard lines, which means he has no room to work. I thought the coverage was good. He hit the ball almost 60 yards if you include the back of the end zone. And then our defense did a really good job of getting a stop right here, and he missed a field goal. And he hadn't missed many. He had 6 against San Jose State, 5 against us. So that was a big momentum shift in the game, and I thought it was going to give us a chance to come out in the second half and compete.
You know, when we talked to you on the radio as you came out of halftime, it was as encouraged as I can remember hearing you at that point in a game. In several weeks, you really felt like your team had a shot to win this football game, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I mean, we needed to correct some things on offense, which obviously we didn't do. We got worse. On defense, we were put in some situations where they had short fields, and they added those points up with field goals, getting 15 of them. But we gave up 2 touchdowns. I mean, we can't give up touchdowns if we want to have a chance to win. And unfortunately, we're not quite good enough to stone people to 0. But we've got to stop them and keep them out of the end zone so our offense can have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, and a couple of games in a row now where the touchdowns, the scoring coming from somewhere other than the offense. We go back to a Wilson to Hall touchdown pass, the last offensive touchdown.
You know, that's not good enough. I mean, we've been dreadful, and we've got to fix it if we want to have a chance to compete and win these games.
All right, 13-7 at the half. More of CSU and the Lobos after this.
The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places.
We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show with Danny Gonzales, the head football coach at UNM. I'm Robert Portnoy. The Lobos down to CSU 13-7 at the half. It's time for second half highlights and a breakdown with Coach G.
Now we come down, we let them get all the way down the field and score on the very first drive. We had 2 opportunities on third down to get off the field and didn't do it. Those are the plays that we have to make to be able to stay in games. We gave them momentum. They got up 20-7, as you'll see right here. We can't allow them to do that.
A couple of neutral zone infractions here in succession in this goal-to-go scenario.
You know, I was having a conversation with Cal right there, our referee. They were doing some things up front that were causing our guys to flinch. I mean, they've got to recognize that, and I'm not blaming it on the referees. I mean, we've got to do a better job too of realizing what they're doing and not react to it.
They're doing some things that were stretching the boundaries of the rules a little bit to get us to
react.
react.
Was moving the ball, and their guards were flinching a little bit. Now, they said we were stemming and causing the movement, which I disagreed with, but they made those calls, and either way, we had opportunities on third down earlier in the drive to get off the field, and we've got to execute those.
The amount of pressure that CSU was able to get on C.J. Montez in this game, is he feeling sometimes pressure that's not there? We talked about that a little bit in the first half.
Oh, absolutely. And that's common for a true freshman. I mean, you get a little bit spooked when you see some jerseys flash your face. I think sometimes they were coming through there free, but other times if he would have stood in the pocket, and sometimes you have to be willing to take a shot to be able to get the receivers an opportunity to come open. And then right here, he had predetermined where he was going to throw the ball, which is fine because it was designed to do that. But he took his eye off the snap, we fumble it, and we give the defense a short field. I thought the defense did a great job. They came out. We actually made them go backwards, and they had to kick a longer field goal. So hopefully we can start blocking some of these field goals if we're going to put them in this situation. But I thought it was a nice job to keep the score down. It's 23-7 right here. We're still in the game, but effectively we're not in the game because we can't do anything on offense.
We saw the sack from Rico Hanna back off the surgery for the torn meniscus, and you guys just keep coming and bringing the pressure. And as good a day as McBride had, he was open other times, and because of the pressure, they couldn't get the ball to him.
Could not get it to him. And I thought we did a really nice job fitting the run. Ronald Wilson did a great job from the secondary. We had some guys up front perform well. Joey Noble was as consistent as ever. I disagreed with this call also, only because I thought Bobby was going 10-2. They called an illegal block where they said he came back inside. They kind of explained it to me, and ultimately, I mean, they're not trying to screw anybody. They're trying to do the best job they can, and they thought that was a penalty.
Well, I know Dontrell Moore, my partner, didn't think it was a penalty either. And it obviously took away a big gain there for Zarek Scruggs.
It did. Trey McBride right there, this was a big play, and this was a concentration factor. We were getting really greedy with our guys coming up from the secondary and run support, and we got a little bit dirty eyes in the backfield, and Ronald's guy got away from him, and they got down to the 10-yard line. Now, we had a first and goal on the 10-yard line, and the defense did a nice job of pushing them back and holding them to another field goal attempt, which they converted on.
Back-to-back plays there. One of them, Joey Noble, was involved, but both of them, Ray Leatele was involved in a sack for Ray, so he was able to get into the backfield.
You know, Ray did a really nice job being aggressive on run fits and getting to the quarterback. we finally get a pass interference here, not finally by the referees. Finally, we created some time for Tia to throw the ball, and then Luke, that was the only way they could cover him. I thought they had a hard time covering Luke. We just didn't protect him well enough to get the ball to him more often.
They're still trying to score here late in this game and keeping your defense under pressure. Here they find one of their other tight ends.
The biggest disappointment of the night was this play. We've got to be able to cover them, and if we can't cover them, we've got to get them on the ground. Dante had a chance right there on the 10-yard line. We had been pretty good from keeping them out of the end zone. These are the moments in building this program where I get concerned. Are we giving in? Obviously we don't, because right here, this interception that they give the ball to the defense on the 10-yard line to Colorado State, we come out and hold them to a field goal. And unless you're fighting with 7 minutes to go, they've still got their starters in there trying to score. Unless you're fighting, that's going to be an easy walk-in touchdown, and we kept them out of the end zone.
I could not agree more. I thought this series was a big statement in terms of character and the way that you guys withstood the pressure. A goal line stand is a big deal anytime it happens in a ball game, but especially at the end of a game like this where it'd be easy to have packed it in.
No, I agree. I mean, they could have scored a lot more points if we hadn't made a few stops on defense. Here we go, we're running the ball, we're down in territory, we're going to get stopped here again. Now this is Isaiah. We gave Isaiah a couple series, and like I said, I didn't think Isaiah was ready for a full game. He'll have another week of practice, which will give him 3 weeks. Cardiovascular-wise, he should be a little bit better. So we'll let him and CJ go through practice, and if Terry can't play, we'll decide between the two of them.
And you feel like with another full week of practice, if Isaiah's the guy, that he could play 4 quarters for you?
You know, now that he's had 3 consistent weeks of actually running, getting in cardiovascular shape, I feel a lot more comfortable. I did not really feel comfortable on Saturday if he had to be out there for the longevity. When he came in, he's under a lot of pressure already. We just wanted to get him some live speed reps so that we can see if he can perform.
You mentioned what you think you're going to do with your offensive line coming up this week. Colorado State has a terrific D-line, a couple of highly decorated players up front. Overall, how did they do in this one, and what changes do you think you're looking for moving to Wyoming?
We were too inconsistent, and some of that comes with continuity. I mean, I'm a firm believer as we're going back and watching through this. We've changed guys because we haven't played very consistent. We haven't found a right tackle yet. We've had some injuries. We thought Jacob Jankowiak was going to be that, and he had an injury to his knee on air, which is really unlucky, and I feel bad for him. It put us at a situation where we had to move some guys around to try and find the best combination. Jack Buford couldn't play last week because he was ill, non-COVID, but he couldn't play. So we had to put some other guys out there, and it takes some athleticism out there that we're kind of short on in some of those guys to play out there in that spot. Now I think we've identified a possible combination that we're going to stick with, and if it ain't the right one, we're going to stick with it and see what happens. So hopefully we can stay injury-free and keep going.
All right, when we come back on the other side, we wrap up CSU and New Mexico and look ahead to the Lobos trip to Laramie and a date with the Wyoming Cowboys.
The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places.
Back to close out this edition of your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm Robert Portnoy with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. And Coach G, as we went to break, we were talking about the O-line, and I wanted to mention a guy. You talked about guys being moved around up front. It started with trying to find a replacement for Teton Saltis at right tackle, and then Jankowiak gets hurt. He's coming off a knee of his own, and he's been asked to do so much already up front, and he's undersized. Radson Jang has been really an amazing player for you this year, hasn't he?
He's done a really good job. We've used him at right tackle. We've used him at center. The last couple of weeks, he's taken the predominant snaps at center when Kyle has started, and then Ratson's coming in, and he's done a nice job. And it's amazing because he's not big. He's 255 pounds, soaking wet, but he's doing a really good job of pushing people around and getting some movement off the ball. Now, it showed a little bit in his size when they were able to stack the box down there at the end of the first half when they had us backed up, but he's fighting his tail off, and he's got the spirit, and he's doing a good job of leading those guys up front and making all the calls.
All right, the Lobos have an opportunity to snap this 5-game skid as they travel to Laramie, Wyoming to take on Coach Bowl and the Wyoming Cowboys. What do you think of the tape so far on Wyoming this year?
Physical team. Now, they got out physical Saturday by Fresno, but Fresno's a good football team. And so I know between the combination of last year, us beating them 17-16 in Vegas, and them playing last week and not scoring any points, Coach Bowl will have them ready to go for us. We won't sneak up on them. And we're going to have to play at our very best and absolutely have to play better on offense to have a chance to compete in this game.
So the Lobos won the last two a season ago. Coach mentioned the 17-16 win over Wyoming and then defeating Fresno, which hadn't been done in a decade and a half or more. You talk about the physicality of Wyoming. Your team out-physicaled them last year. Can it stand up in that type of contest again this season?
Well, that's our goal every week. And Coach Bowles is going to be preaching that to their guys too. They'll come in ready to out-physical us, and our guys, hopefully we can stand up to that fight. That's been the big challenge around here. And on defense, we've been doing it. On offense, it's not from a lack of effort or a lack of trying. So we're going to give them a game plan that is about being physical. We're going to run the ball and be downhill. And if they outman us, then they outman us. But we're going to go in there with that attitude. And I know they're going to be ready for the game. Coach Bowles is a great coach. They do things the right way, in my opinion. They play hard, they play physical. And I know Wyoming will be ready for us. So I look forward to the challenge, and it's the kind of football game that I love to be a part of.
One of the things we found out last year was the toughness of the walk-on freshman turned starter, Isaiah Chavez, at quarterback. He can run the football now. And if he's the guy and you're running it, is he a part of it?
Oh, absolutely. He's not afraid. And when you can run the quarterback, you get an extra blocker for the quarterback, so that's always a positive. Isaiah, he has a lot of confidence and good leadership. And different confidence than CJ. CJ is a very confident young man. I think he's going to have to brush some of that off from what happened last Saturday, which when I talk about ruining true freshmen, you put them in situations like that, and sometimes it takes them a while to come back. I don't think CJ will let that affect him, but until you see him out there in a game again, you don't know. So the two of them will compete. Isaiah's got a lot of confidence, whichever one performs better in practice. Now, ideally, it'll be Terry. Terry's our quarterback. If we can get that elbow to where he can protect himself, then Terry's going to play. So whoever it is, we'll figure it out.
All right, Coach G. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Can't wait.
Lobos in Wyoming, 1:30 in Laramie on Saturday. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.
Go Lobos.